Hi guys, it's Sean here, and today I'm going to be doing a quick video review for you of the 2006 horror movie Hatchet. Now, the plot behind Hatchet is that a group of people are down in New Orleans celebrating Mardi Gras, and while they're down there they decide to go on a boat tour through a haunted swamp. And despite all the warnings from the locals, in true horror movie tradition, they go on the swamp tour anyway, and they get there and it's actually haunted, and it's haunted by a giant hatchet-wielding freak named Victor Crowley. Now, why it sounds like your traditional horror movie that you'd see on the horror movie channel at 5 in the morning, it's beyond that, trust me. It's not Bloody Gut Lake 7. It's actually a really, really good horror movie that's got a lot of love thrown into it. You can tell that director and writer Andy Green really, really loves this subgenre, the slashers. It's just a complete throwback to the 80s slashers. You've got all your textbook tropes in there. You've got all the practical effects. The kills in this movie look amazing. Like, you've got arms getting ripped off, you've got people getting impaled. There's a bit where this porn star gets a belt sanded to the face and the tongue's hanging out, and it just looks amazing. Like, you can really tell that they put a lot of effort into this movie. And I've not watched this film for a few months now, but it's just so refreshing to go back to this film and see how good that special effects can be done in this day and age with practical effects compared to the CG shit that we get thrown these days. Like, I can't understand why. I'm not saying that CG doesn't take effort to do, because obviously it does, but I don't see why you pay to have CG done when it's obviously more expensive than practical, when it looks nowhere near as good as practical effects. I mean, it just makes it feel more real, obviously. I mean, it's so obvious these days as well with CG. I think it just takes a lot out of the movie. But yeah, CG rant over. You've got your textbook horror movie slasher character, you know, the unstoppable killer machine, Victor Crowley, who's played in this movie by horror icon Kane Hodder. And speaking of horror movie icons, you've got a couple others in there. You've got Tony Todd, who you might know better as Candyman. He plays a character called Reverend Zombie, who kind of knows what's going on. He knows more than he's letting on. And while he's only in this for a short, brief period, he plays quite a pivotal character in the sequels, but we'll get onto that some other time. And the other horror movie icon that's in this movie is Robert Englund, who you should know as Freddy Krueger. Now, he plays a character called Samson, who's related to one of the main characters through the story, but he's only in it at the start of the film. He plays an alligator hunter who's in the swamp, and while it's only a small role, you know, he kills it like he does in everything he's in. He has a really great part in the start of this film. And yeah, towards the end of the film, you know, the film ends on like a really great cliffhanger. It ends a lot like the first Friday the 13th movie. You know, it just cuts to black, and then you put on Hatchet Part 2 and it carries on exactly where Part 1 left off. So, in theory, if you wanted to, you could watch Part 1, Part 2 and Part 3 as one long movie. But, like I said, it's really heavy on the gore, and the gore's really realistic and visceral. So you might want to give yourself that break in between to let your stomach settle. But, yeah. But it's just a great film. I can't recommend it highly enough. You know, like I said, in this day and age where horror movies, you know, it's either found footage or possession movies, you know. It's nice to just go back to a time where things could be simpler and just so much more enjoyable, and you don't have to pick it apart. You can just sit back and just watch it and enjoy it for what it is, just a fun slasher movie. You can tell it's not there for the money, which horror movies these days are, you know, especially like your Paranormal Activities and things like that. They're just cash grabs, but this, you can tell that it was made with like a real passion by someone who has a real passion for the subgenre. So yeah, check out this movie if you haven't seen it. I know it's an older film, but it's one of those lesser known titles that I think a lot of horror movie fans would appreciate if they haven't seen it already. So yeah, I've got to give this film 7 out of 10. A really good movie, check it out. So yeah, thanks for watching guys. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Let me know if you've seen Hatchet. Let me know of any other slasher movies that you'd like to recommend, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.